So in today's video, we're comparing the cheapest iPad to the cheapest Samsung tablet. So which one is the better affordable 10-inch tablet? We're gonna try to compare every category to find out. So the Galaxy Tab A8 is the cheaper device, starting at $230 in the United States, while the iPad is a little bit higher, starting at $329. But I've seen the iPad go on sale several times already since it was released. I'll leave a link in the description of the video for current pricing and more information. Now, pricing is also going to depend on which version you choose and whether you get the Wi-Fi only or SIM card version. You can get 64 gigabytes or 256 gigabyte storage on the iPad with 3 gigabytes of RAM, where the Galaxy Tab has 32, 64, or 128 gigabytes of storage. The 32 gigabyte is only 3 gigabytes of RAM, where the 64 and 128 are going to be 4 gigabytes of RAM. Although I don't know if I would worry about that. You'll see what I mean later in the video. Just a side note, if at all possible, don't get the 32 gigabyte version of the Galaxy Tab. It's going to fill up way too fast. The iPad is 7.9 millimeters thick, weighs in around 498 grams, and the Galaxy Tab is 508 grams at 6.9 millimeters thick. So Samsung is a little bit thinner, the iPad is a little bit lighter. Pretty similar overall though in size and weight between these two tablets. Now, for some people, one of the most important factors in buying a tablet is going to be the battery life. The iPad actually has a larger battery, but when I ran my battery drain test on both the iPad 9 and the Galaxy Tab A8, surprisingly the Galaxy Tab lasted 7 hours before dying, and the iPad only lasted 5.5 hours. Now keep in mind, that's at full screen brightness, so if you turn that down a bit, you can easily make it through the whole day. Maybe a day and a half before you'll have to charge these back up, but if you want the tablet with better battery life, you're gonna wanna go with the Galaxy Tab. Oh, and the iPad has 20 watt fast charging, the Galaxy Tab has 15 watt charging, so pretty comparable as far as charging goes. Now, if you like tablets, phones, and other tech, consider hitting that subscribe button. I try to cover as much on the channel as possible, and I'll be posting more videos this year than ever before. The iPad 9 has a 10.2-inch 2160 by 1620 resolution display, where the Galaxy Tab has a 10.5-inch 1920 by 1200 resolution. So you get a little bit better resolution on the iPad, but what you're really going to notice is when you put these next to each other, just how much brighter the iPad screen is and how much better the viewing angles are compared to the Galaxy Tab. Not sure if you can tell from this video, but colors look a little bit brighter on the iPad screen as well. When streaming videos online, you can sort of see a difference there also. You get 2160p resolution on the iPad when watching YouTube videos, only 1080p resolution on the Galaxy Tab, and then on the iPad you get full HD playback on Netflix, only SD quality playback on the Galaxy Tab A8. Now I know some people are not gonna like the older style bezels you get on the iPad, especially compared to how the Galaxy Tab looks, with nice and thin bezels all the way around. But the good thing is you still have the Touch ID or fingerprint scanner right on the front, which works really good as a home button as well, or switching between apps. Unfortunately, you don't get any fingerprint scanner on the Galaxy Tab A8. I gotta say, seeing the iPad at 500 nits brightness compared to the Galaxy Tab A8, it's almost not fair. If you want the tablet with better display, it's not really going to be that close. The iPad wins this category and wins it pretty easily. When it comes to performance, if you look at the Geekbench testing, the iPad sort of destroys the Galaxy Tab. I mean, we're talking the iPad is about 3 times as powerful as the Galaxy Tab on single and multi-core scores. Even worse for the Galaxy Tab on compute scores. Sure, the iPad feels a little bit faster and smoother in general, just moving around the software, and it can even handle more intense games than the Galaxy Tab. But unless you're really into gaming, I don't know if most people are going to notice a huge difference when you're doing most basic things. It's just when you start to do more multitasking or play more graphic intense games that you're going to notice the difference. So yeah, the iPad is definitely more powerful than the Galaxy Tab, but I think most people are going to enjoy playing games on either tablet, but just know they're definitely going to look better on the iPad. Software wise, the Galaxy Tab A8 is currently on Android 11, One UI 3.1. The iPad is currently on iPad OS 15.3. You'll probably get updates longer on the iPad, judging by Apple's history, but you should be fine with either tablet for a couple years. As far as major software updates go, I won't go into great detail about which software is better, because that could be an entire video by itself. All I will say is there's some stuff I like better on Android, some things I like better on iPad OS, so it's really going to come down to personal preference. Good thing is most popular apps are going to be available on either tablet, and there's a reason why Apple and Samsung are two of the most popular when it comes to tablets. They're both pretty good at what they do. You can also connect a keyboard and mouse to both of these tablets. If you want to be a little more productive, you can use split screen, easily switch between apps, not to mention it's just a lot easier to type. Overall, you can get the job done with either one, although I feel like the iPad is maybe a little more capable when it comes to productivity. Now, even though the Apple Pencil is a little pricey in my opinion, it does work really good with this 10.2-inch iPad. You don't get the S Pen with the Galaxy Tab A8, and you can't actually just go out and buy an S Pen to use with this. I tried, it doesn't work. But you could use a capacitive stylus. Not gonna work quite as good as the S Pen though. Nice thing is there's plenty of keyboard options, cases, whatever accessories you would want for both of these. So that's definitely nice to see in more affordable devices. But you're gonna have more options with the iPad, mainly because the design hasn't changed since the iPad 7. So there's really been accessories available for years for the iPad 9. Nice thing is you get a quad speaker setup on the Galaxy Tab A8, especially for a more affordable tablet. The iPad speakers do sound plenty loud enough for only having two and on the same side, but I tend to like the Galaxy Tab speakers a little bit better because they're on both sides. It just feels a little more balanced when watching videos. Here's a quick sample of each just to give you an idea of what to expect. Nice thing is you'll get a headphone jack on both the iPad and the Galaxy Tab. Sort of crazy how these are some of the few tablets left that actually have these, so you sort of have to enjoy those while you can. When it comes to the cameras on these two tablets, they're not going to be the best out there, but you do have 1080p video recording on both of these, 8 megapixel camera on the back of each, and then you're going to get a higher resolution front-facing camera on the iPad with a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens versus only 5 megapixel front-facing camera on the Galaxy Tab. With all the video conferences going on lately, you would think Samsung would put their 8 megapixel on the front, but hey, what do I know? I just make YouTube videos. Here's a few samples to give you an idea of what to expect for each. Just keep in mind, if you want a tablet for Zoom meetings, or even if you just want a little better photos, you're probably going to want to go with the iPad. So hopefully this video gave you a little closer look at these more affordable tablets by Samsung and Apple. I hope you've liked these tablet videos here lately because I've got a long list and I'm trying to complete as many of these comparisons as possible. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.